I mean, yeah, evolution, the evolution of technology is expanding because technology is building upon itself. So someone asked me, hey, uh, what do you think is going to happen in 10 years? Do you think people will be hand coding things in 10 years? Well, the truth is, I mean, we've had help even before AI was integrated into every IDE. Uh, we've had IntelliSense. We've had things that assisted us in developing applications that actually wrote out the remaining code based off of what it presumed we were trying to type or to create. So we've had something similar for a very long time, and over the years, IDEs have become less tools and more team. So it's something that when you're going to develop your game, you say, okay, look, we're going to use Unity, we're going to use Unreal Engine, we're going to use something that's actually going to make our job a little bit easier, but not just easy. Gives us some space to be more creative, which is indicative of a good team member, not just a tool. So it's both a tool and a team member, in that all those people behind that, all the people who help make that application come to life, is behind you as well. Especially when you're dealing with something like Unity, basically, you're able to use this AAA software for free in a lot of ways. And if you make some money, then you give back to them. So we've been assisted by computers and computation, including in math or physics. There are things that you can do in physics by hand, but the majority of the things that you do in physics in the real world is going to be by help with a computer. Nowadays, it's going to be more AI. So in 10 years, yeah, of course, we're still going to be coding, in my opinion. So it's not a good idea to say, oh, okay, I'm just not going to worry about coding and I'm just going straight to AI. Just let AI do it. No, there will always be a place for the coder. But there is a little bit of a trick to this. It's not that you can just be a coder. The key is for the future, you have to have other skills. That other skill consists of teamwork, being able to work with a team, being able to collaborate, the soft skills. And you're going to also have to be able to speak and describe things. You're going to have to be able to ask for things. And that's not just for AI's sake, that's also for your sake and for your team members' sake. You're going to have to learn more about documentation and collaboration. And finally, you're going to have to be able to use your imagination. And so one would say, where does imagination come in when it comes to me learning to code? Well, a lot of times when you're learning the code in many classes these days or boot camps, you're not really using your imagination so much. You're using someone else's. So you might learn how to do this based off of someone else doing it, right? So you might say, "Oh, I want to do an RPG game like that game." And so that's not really necessarily you using your imagination 100%. You're learning first and then you're using your imagination, which, by the way, I don't agree with that. I think that when you're learning computer science or computer programming or any subject for that matter, you should be starting off one with a story and two with your imagination, and then you learn from there. But in any case, a lot of times you're not necessarily using your imagination completely. And in most cases, even when you want to make something that's very unique and very relatable as well, you're going to probably use 10% of your imagination. And that's all you need to actually come up with something good. But with all that said, your imagination, your teamwork, your collaboration, along with your ability to understand the fundamentals of programming. So, yes, it is wise to learn how to code. It is wise to take courses in code, computer science. CS 110 is what's over at Valley College. We have 110. We have 100. We have VB.net. We have C. We have C Sharp. We have Python. We have everything you can name over there. I mean, if you are thinking about going back to college to learn something, that's probably the best place to go, someplace like Valley College, because the instructors actually care about you learning and they make it interesting for the most part, meaning starting from a pathways to pipelines mentality, they're making this part of your pathway through a particular pipeline of computer science, information technology, or whatever you're taking. So I would say, yes, there will be coders, people will be programming in the future, but your team member, which will be AI, and your IDE will be much more intuitive, because right now you have AI that can basically, and when I say I really mean large language model. So I don't really mean true AI. We haven't reached that yet. Probably by the time this video is up, we have reached AI. So this stuff is moving so fast. So ignore what I'm saying if AI comes about the second I upload this video. In any case, what we have is a team member, right? So we have something that works with us. It can listen to us. And if we can't describe ourselves or our ideas properly, it's going to give us something improper. Now, yes, you can tell it, hey, make me Gallagher, a game that already existed. Yes, it knows all about that. Okay, I can make a clone of that. But that's not really you being creative. That's not you creating something that you want to, that's from your imagination. And so I think that's where a lot of people are sort of hesitant. They're like, oh man, I don't know about the future. Maybe I should stop now. No, you should keep going, because the one thing AI needs, it needs a team member. Uh, Also, it needs a tool. So AI is connecting to other tools, is using other people, and people are using AI, and people are using the tool. So continue with your education in computer science. And if you have not started in computer science, or information technology for that matter, you really need to take some of those courses. I don't care what course you're taking right now, actually. You should have some computer science knowledge or some information technology knowledge. Information technology will give you the knowledge of the internet, and computer science will give you the knowledge of computation. And it doesn't mean you're going to become a computer scientist. It means that you're going to have the knowledge of the language of the future. In fact, and I'm not going to get into this right now because the subject is a little bit different. In fact, I believe computer science should replace math, and math simply should be used as a tool for whatever subject that it's in. It doesn't mean you don't learn math. It means you learn it based on the subject matter that you're in, but we can get into that a little bit later. So, long story short, yes, there will be coding in the future, but it won't be coding like we see it today. It will require imagination. It will require a fundamental understanding of object-oriented programming, and it will require the ability to work with a team of humans and machines and robots. So keep that in mind. It's not necessarily going to become easier. It's going to become more dynamic and more inclusive and more democratized. So developing something will become more democratized. That way, almost everyone can do it. And that's all that's going to happen. It's not going to get rid of programmers. Programmers will always have a space in this as long as they have what? Ideas. Yes. If they don't have ideas, then they don't have a space in this. Um, and so this is where I think your mind should be when you're thinking about this. And in fact, if you're taking, let's say you're taking statistics, you're taking nursing, you're taking philosophy, anthropology, I don't really care what you're taking. It is imperative that you learn something about computer science and information technology. Take one course if you have to, take an introduction course, and I don't care if you fail or whatever, get that information in there, because it is the language of the future. It is the language of the machines and of the people working with those machines. So hopefully this was helpful to you. If you have any more questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.